Hello viewers, I was just putting the finishing touches on this update's forces, which ended up being a tie vote between the Machine Tribe and the Girl Tribe. I'll be opening up with the Machine Tribe, voted for by forums user Kelsing, and I know they probably wanted to see Transformers, but those will have to wait until we have a little more GF energy to play with.
Let's do our best.
Instead, I'll be opening with the most common form of the Machine Borg, the Robot. Specifically the Claw Robot. We've seen these in action before, and this is the first time I'm behind the wheel of one, and already the differences between them and Borgs we've previously used are obvious. We're fighting here a new type of gun Borg, the Gatling Gunner, which are particularly dangerous because their shots can hit you a lot of times without actually stunning you, so they can build up damage on you really quickly. Fortunately, they aren't too much stronger defensively than revolver gunmen. So even though Claw Robot is almost out, he's been able to take a good number of his enemy with them. That looks like the end for Claw Robot. Next up is Thunder Robot. It plays largely similarly to Claw. It's just that its Thunder Wire ability has an actual effect when it's connected to an ally, but when your ally moves around a lot, it can be difficult to activate. It doesn't do much when firing at enemies, but hey, we won. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities to see that in action.
We showed them! We're awesome!
And next up will be the Girl Tribe, voted for by forums user Dr. Reynolds. I also show off another perk of playing on a New Game Plus, the ability to solo battle. That generally makes it easier to earn Borgs, and makes fighting a little more difficult if you find the game too easy for you.
Let's do this!
I'll be opening with Battle Girl, the normal Borg of the Girl Tribe.
Nice!
As you can see, they're much faster than machines. Generally more suited to projectiles than melee attacks, though their boost jump does limit their mobility compared to, say, ninjas.
Nice! Yeah! Let's do it!
Yeah, this entire battle has been Air Borgs. And Air Borgs are largely different from most other Borgs, in that they don't dodge the same way, and they're also constantly moving. Though I'll go into more detail about the changes when I actually use one.
Whoa!
But hey, another victory.
We showed them!
Next up will be some more members of the Machine Tribe.
Let's do this!
I'm opening here with Hammer Robot. Even more of a close-range battler than Claw Robot was. As you can see, the hammer arm is quite powerful, though it's not a projectile, so its range is much shorter than most other Borgs. Its X attack also launches out 4 bombs, which are decent at controlling space, although most Borgs smaller than Hammer Robot just kind of walk right under them. Though for any Borg your size or bigger, it does a pretty good job of boxing them in. Especially if you just kind of spread them around. Oh, and you see that drill robot surprise me there with it going underground. Fortunately, duel robots are really only dangerous if you let them get away from you. So when there's more than one enemy, and one manages to slip your focus, they can easily surprise you like that. Though when you can keep your attention on one, they're not that big a threat.
Alright! Nice combo!
Next will be some training. And this time I'll be using some more girl borgs. And also some Deathborgs for the first time.
We can win this battle!
This is Deathborg Delta 3. And as you've seen, it has no projectiles. It only can toss its ball out on a string. And dies to a single melee attack from Kakeru. This is Delta 2, and unlike Delta 3, it only has projectile attacks. Though given the way its projectiles move, you're playing a game of deadly dodging for the most part, and that you have to be close enough that the enemy can't simply dodge away from your projectiles, but far enough away that they can't swing in with a melee attack and defeat you almost instantly. Even Mana's Shield Witch could do that to me without paying attention. Though she's kind of got me helpless here with that barrier blocking my shots. Delta is almost helpless. I'm kind of focusing on Mana here because I don't want her healing Kakeru's board and just lengthening the battle. But that's the end of the Deathborgs. And next up is Wire Girl. Largely similar to Battle Girl, except for the addition of a charge laser and her trademark wire system. Each tap of the X button sets down a point, and when you double tap the X button, it recalls you along the wire to your point. You do have to be careful about where you set them, because otherwise that'll happen. And getting stuck in place just kind of leaves you helpless. Just take a little care when setting your wires, and you won't have that problem. The Wire Girl does have melee attacks, but there's really no point in using them. Well, it looks like Kakeru's down to his partner anyway, so this battle's almost won. Yeah, Wire Girl's wire does allow you to do some neat movement tricks. Though they're generally more fun than practical.
Alright! That'll do!
We've lost!
You meanie!
Oh, a new prize. When the gotcha box flashes blue, it means you get a data crystal. And I skipped it because it's the same animation as earning a gotcha board. The only difference is when a crystal... I'm sorry. You gain a crystal. Each crystal borg is split in between 2 and 4 pieces. And when you get a full set, they automatically combine into the borg in question. And next will be a combination force between the girl and the machine.
Let's do this! Let's get serious! Just be...
I'm opening with Spinner Girl, similar to Delta 3 in that she doesn't have projectiles. Like just her spinning disc. Fortunately, Tsutomu here still hasn't been able to increase his force size. So I'm kind of focusing on him to make the battle against Usagi a bit easier.
No! This is so hard! There!
Now, Spinner Girl, you have to pay a little more attention to your enemies because her long-range attack requires you to stop moving. No, she does do good damage, and that's the end of Tsutomu. Now, as you might have missed there, Spinner Girl's X attack, which throws her disc out, can actually destroy most projectiles. Even bullets, which are ordinarily not touched. Makes it a little easier when dealing with a single Borg. Though, with two or more, when your enemy can shoot you from another side, it's only a minor help. Well, it looks like Usagi's lost her Ring Valkyrie, so she's already down to a partner K.
What are you doing?
And by herself, she can't seem to get past the spinner. So that's another victory.
All right. Yay! We did it.
Oh, and another Battle Girl. I just cut those two generic Death Force fights out because nothing really interesting happened.
We showed them.
These are the only prizes. I'll just save here because I've done a decent amount of fighting. And it looks like Nakobe and Kitsune want another rematch. I considered fighting them alone, but at this early point in the game, I don't really have the confidence for it. So I'll just be using the Hammer Robot Force again.
We can do this!
Katsumi, they need to be put in their place.
You get on my nerves!
And while Nakobe is still just using a bunch of Vampire Knights, Kitsune has added the Magnet Robot Plus to his force. It's pretty similar to the other robots we've seen so far, except for his X attack Magnet Scope, which draws Borgs toward him. It's actually quite frustrating, given that it makes an amazing setup for Nakobe to spin in and hit both any Borgs caught in Kitsune's Magnet Scope. Fortunately, Hammer Robot's hammers still do a good chunk of damage even when he's not fighting Deathborgs. And you saw Nakobe just kind of walking right under the bombs. Fortunately, Kitsune can't do that, so spreading him around does do a good job of preventing him from setting up as much as he'd like. Oh, and it looks like Nakobe is already down to his partner.
Oh, that hurt. Not yet. Wow.
Oh, and you see the Hammer Fists don't do any damage on the rebound. And while they're out, you're practically helpless, so be careful where you're throwing. Oh, and with Kitsune down to his partner, there's not really much you can do against being Kakeru. Or Kakeru and me, excuse me. Well, a few more hammer tosses and that'll be game.
You'll pay for this!
Oh, hey, a Vampire Knight for our very own. Now, in a moment, I'm just going to show you what happens when you get sloppy in Gacha Force.
Put you in your place.
Yep, it seems they've finally stopped playing around. But with the magic of reloading, it's like it never happened at all. And now to see why that happened.
Huh?
That seems like Nakobe is challenging us to a duel. So I'll just go with a combination force again. Nakobe's finally added someone new to his force.
You want pain, don't ya?
Chainsaw Knight, like the name says, is a very powerful Borg, though it has to grab an enemy with its claw before it can really let loose. And it looks like the one-on-one battle has quickly become a two-on-one ambush. Poor Spinner Girl here can't really do much with Kitsune's magnet scope, preventing me from setting up as much as I'd like. And without Hammer Robot's bombs, I can't do much to box him. I'm trying to focus on Nakobe because Chainsaw Knight is very powerful. Though it seems they brought out Drill Robot, which we fought before and now we get to use. Drills are great projectiles, given that they are physical and can be shot down, but they're hard to do so. And they pretty much go through anything. Also, as you saw earlier, going underground doesn't protect you from everything. But in general, it's a good way to get away from attacks. And Drill Robot's so huge that even just kind of spinning around its melee attacks is enough to kill Borg, even when you're not looking. And the drilling into the ground will deal damage to any Borg it hits. So Kitsune just kind of signed his own defeat there. And this battle actually marks the first use of Power Burst. What it does is make your movement, charge, and reload speed much faster, so you can basically, any Borg can cover the screen in projectiles. You still take the same amount of damage, but you don't stun nearly as easily. So thanks to that, we've won.
We showed them.
How?
That was luck. All luck.
That battle's not particularly difficult, it's just kind of a surprise in your first time through. And like I said, they'll beat you if you're sloppy. But that seems like a good place to end it. So I'll just save here and point out these two battles. Looks like we're going to meet a new character soon. Well, good night, and thanks for watching.